In matter regarding recruitment of visually impaired in judicial services versus the Registrar General High Court of Madhya Pradesh, Supreme Court said that visually impaired candidates are eligible to participate in selection for the post under judicial service, and hence Rule 6A of Madhya Pradesh Judicial Service Recruitment and Conditions of Services Rules 1994 is struck down insofar as it excludes visually impaired and low vision candidates for appointment in judicial service. Rule 7 of Madhya Pradesh Judicial Service Recruitment and Condition of Service Rules 1994, to the extent of prescribing additional requirement of either a 3-year practice period or securing aggregate score of 70% in first attempt, is struck down so insofar as it applies to PWD candidates. The said rule will be applicable to person with disability candidates insofar as it prescribes their educational and other qualification as eligibility criteria, including the minimum aggregate score of 70%, with relaxation as may be determined like in the case of SC/ST candidates, but without the requirement of either that it should be in the first attempt or that they should have 3 years practice. As a sequel, impugned order dated 1 April 2024 passed by High Court and consequential notification dated 17 November 2023 issued by the High Court of Madhya Pradesh are set aside as against PWD candidates, and the appellant with Ayush Yardi and similarly placed persons are entitled to be considered for participation in the selection process in light of this decision. The order of High Court dated 11 January 2024 and notification dated 18 February 2023 were set aside as far as the appellant Alok Singh and similarly placed persons were concerned. Appellant and similarly placed persons who had participated in selection process were entitled to be considered in the light of this decision, and they may be appointed if they are otherwise eligible in vacant posts after applying applicable relaxation as provided for in executive orders. The writ petition who contend that the separate cutoff was not applied in the Rajasthan Judicial Service preliminary examination and consequently were not selected for mains examination shall be entitled to be considered in the light of this decision in next recruitment if they so apply to the post notified along with the post unfilled now and carried forward to next recruitment by maintaining separate cutoff and merit list for person with disabilities. Respective authorities are directed to proceed with selection process of appointment of judicial officers in light of this decision and complete the same as expeditiously as possible, preferably within 3 months from today. Court observed that the overall analysis would demonstrate that the rights based approach necessitates that persons with disabilities must not face any discrimination in pursuit of judicial service opportunities, and instead there must be affirmative action on behalf of state to provide an inclusive framework. Now it is high time that we view the right against disability based discrimination as recognized in the RPWD Act 2016 of the same stature as a fundamental right, thereby ensuring that no candidate is denied consideration solely on account of their disability. Further, as extensively discussed, principle of reasonable accommodation as enshrined in international conventions, established jurisprudence, and RPWD Act 2016 mandate that accommodation must be provided to persons with disabilities as a prerequisite to assessing their eligibility. In light of the above, any indirect discrimination that results in exclusion of persons with disabilities, whether through rigid cutoffs or procedural barriers, must be interfered with in order to uphold substantive equality. Commitment to ensuring equal opportunity necessitates a structured and inclusive approach where merit is evaluated with due regard to reasonable accommodations required, thereby fostering judicial appointments that truly reflect the principles of fairness and justice.